Namaskar, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening, we will be reading from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Panchama Veda. Let us begin with this mantra. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kubibhiriditam kalmashapaham sravanamangalam Srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. The last time we were reading and from the page 767, 768. Very interestingly, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said the two words that's really worth remembering. One is the ego of knowledge and ego of ignorance. Both are ego. And when there is ego, as we all know, we won't realize our own self. Because this is the ego which separates us from the real self. The self or the Paramatma or the Brahman or the God, which is everywhere, all pervading, and we are the product of that, but we cannot realize that, we cannot understand that. Why? Because of the ego. And what is ego? We don't know, but it is very much there. Anyone telling something to this particular body, immediately we are feeling happy or hurt. Why? Because we are connected with this body. And this body with a name and form. So obviously we can understand when we do some, try to understand it clearly, that this body was not there before few years. This body will not be there after few years. Then where from the I came? That is the ego. When that I, the ego, the me and mine is connected with this particular body and the mind, that is called the ego of ignorance. That means it is separating us. Now what is this I again? Because I belongs to the mind. And when we are the mind, we are thinking that this is the way we have to understand. So what we should do? So we can always do in this way that when we are mentioning that I am the son of God, I am the child of God, then what happens? It's that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says, it is the ego of knowledge. Knowledge means that everything has been created by God, everything belongs to that supreme being, so the ego of knowledge. So this is the way if we can understand. As we always discuss, that if we are understanding it very clearly, then it becomes very easy for us to get completely free from the bondage of birth and death. When the bondage of birth and death, the circle of birth and death, we are overcoming and we are going beyond this suffering. When we take birth, when we take this body, it becomes so painful. So obviously we like to go beyond it again and again. So how? So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, it is better to have the ego of knowledge. The ego of knowledge, I am doing, but I, the Son of God, is doing. I, the children, we are the children of God, we are doing. That much. So this is the idea. Second, he says, and that is also very unique, again he is mentioning jnana and bhakti are twin paths. We always think that it is completely separate. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says these are two paths, but they are twin paths. equal, same. The one is choosing a path, either jnana or bhakti, according to his or her temperament, his or her likings. So one, when the emotional, he thinks that or she thinks that I should cook for God, I should do this, I should do that, that is okay for them. So that is called the path of devotion. The God is there and I am here, the devotee. I believe in the existence of God, that is the main thing. Then to reach God, what I do? I apply everything. My attachment, my anger, my emotion, everything I give to God and I reach God. And when I reach God, whatever the effect I get, the person who is going on negating, this is not God, that is not Atman, that is not Brahman, going on negating, not this, not this, not this, when he reaches to the ultimate, the goal, he experiences the same thing. That is the idea Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna says, the path of jnana and the path of bhakti, devotion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says the same. So sometimes people, they always, out of ego again it works. Oh, we are jnani, we are separate from the bhaktas. Bhaktas are lower category. They don't understand the thing. Their intellect is a little less. And we are very strong intellectually. This type of, that all comes from the ego. So that is why we should study the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, to make it very clear. Then we will come, the first he said, the ego of knowledge and ego of ignorance. The ego of ignorance that binds us, ego of knowledge that gives us liberation. What is the ego of ignorance? Me and mine, name and form. So that is connected with this particular body and mind. And that naturally, because of the desire, the ego is remaining. Now when I burn my desire, give up my desire, I only depend on God, the existence of God I completely accept. The same ego helps me to realize God, the ego of knowledge. Kachami, pakami, in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Kachami, that binds. Pakami, when I am completely dedicated to God, I am doing, but at the behest of God, at the power of God, I am not taking any credit, as Hanumanji did, as Swami Vivekananda did. The great work they did, but at the same time they were not taking any credit. And jnana and bhakti according to the temperament. Now today let us start reading from the Saturday, May 9, 1885, Master Mahasaya is noting. It was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna sat in Balaram's drawing room in a happy mood. Many devotees were present. Narendra, Aim, Bhavanath, Purna, Poltu, the young Naren, Girish, Ram, Binod, Dija, and others sat around him. The whole group, they were there. Sri Ramakrishna's mission, the God, when he comes and takes the avatar, the incarnation, he develops a mission for particular purpose of a mission. What is that mission? This time Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's mission was, as Mother Ma Sharadamani Devi very clearly mentioned, to teach humbleness. Because this yuga is full of ego. Each and everyone is full of ego. Everyone is boasting. Everyone is trying to prove. And that is the reason Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna came, and he will find this effect, the bad effect of the yuga. No one can go beyond it. It's very difficult. Even the sannyasins are also, they are also showing up. They are also, it is very clear that they are so egoistic. Forget about the others, the politicians, the businessmen. in the ordinary people, everywhere it is so rampant, the ego is so much. And that is the reason Bhagavan came, incarnated as Sri Ramakrishna, only to tell us that be free from ego. Just sit in one place and judge what is this ego. You will find there is no ego at all. You are just imagining. Before your birth, this world was there. After your death, this world will be there. As long as you are living, you are thinking, without you, this world cannot move. This is a foolish thinking. So, obviously, this is the main teaching. And along with that, he taught us the very ancient path that all are leading to the same goal. The rishis of the old, they discovered that and they declared, and that is oft quoted. It says, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. It is only one, that is the truth. But the learned people, they call it by various names, in different names. That's all. Now, why we are fighting unnecessarily, knowing the truth? Unknowingly we are committing all these problems. So that is also the second teaching of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, and in his own words it says, Jato mat tato path. If we translate it in this way, as many faiths, so many paths. Jato mat tato path. As many faiths. I like to go to the Washington DC by flight. And my grandfather also did the same. My father also did the same. My son will also do the same. So if goes on like this, so it is a tradition for us to go to that particular place by flight, no problem. But someone else will say, but my family, my tradition, we always go by road. Someone will say, we take the train and go. Different paths. And that is, the choice is theirs, they like it. And somebody will say, no, I will just drive, or I will take a bicycle and go. It may take a month, it doesn't matter. I want to enjoy the ride. I like to stay here, there, talk to the people, understand people, and I will reach there. All are reaching to the same destination, taking different routes, different paths, and what is the problem? But when I say that my path is the only path, we are flying from here and that is the only path, all paths are not good, not at all there, etc., then clashes comes. If we understand this, the spiritual leaders, the religious leaders, educated people, if they only understand this much, I like to go by this way, you are welcome to go, no problem. But don't say, don't criticize others. That is the only thing and nothing else. So this is the way, if we can understand, there will be no conflict. That is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna taught. But you know that worldly people, they always try to understand it in a very complicated way. The when Sri Ramakrishna practiced Christianity, he became a Christian. How can you consider him a Hindu? Consider him as a human being. That will do. If he has taken this path, so he has converted into, this is a very crooked way of thinking things. They will never understand this. Forget about them. Let them continue their life. If they like to be living in this way, let them continue. God bless them. But those who are sincere, those who are genuine, those who have understood the futility of this world, the pages and pages of the history that's teaching us is so temporary, it is so nothing is there. Today's rich man, next after few years, they are nowhere. There's so many business families came, community came, they were, and then where are these people? The kings after kings came, And so many powerful people came. Where are they? Nowhere. So understanding this, when some people say, I like to go to a permanent condition where I will be eternally and I will get the eternal joy, that person is called mumukshu. I like to go beyond this temporariness. That's called mumukshu. And for those mumukshus, all the scripture. Not for these people, those who like to argue and create problem, and they enjoy this type of nasty arguments and problems. Let them enjoy. So this thing we have to understand. The world is always will be like this. Some darkness will be there, some in between light and darkness, and some will be lighted. We like to be in the lighted camp. Those who are enlightened people, we like to be there. That's called Sattva Guna. So Master Sri Ramakrishna, he has come to teach this, and he said that if you understand the ego, then try to apply the ego. That is a force, that is a power. Apply that to realize the truth, and that ego will become the ego of knowledge. If you can't, if you don't understand, then you will have to be in the ego of ignorance. You have to continue your life. Don't think that every time you will be a human being. Different type of births will be there, whether you believe it or not, accept it or not, it will be there. And sometimes the birth will be reptile and the birds and the animals, and maybe lower type of the human being. So when we have got the opportunity, the best human being, and we have understood this, then don't waste time unnecessarily for these arguments. So from here we start. From here the journey for the spirituality begins, and Sri Ramakrishna is developing that. And all the group, every time Master Masha giving the names, and we are familiar with these characters, these people who are here today in Balaram's house. But you know, next line Master Masha is mentioning, Balaram was not there. He had gone to Munger for a change in air. Munger in Bihar, in India, is a good place. People used to go over there for sometimes the weak people, the sick people used to go over there because of the very good weather. For a change, they used to go. Even though the Balaram is not there, the landlord is not there, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna has come, and all the devotees are also come. He is not alone. So that is the uniqueness of Sri Ramakrishna. Whenever he used to visit any devotee's house, not alone, always he used to come along with many other devotees. And one person who could provide to feed them or to accommodate them, so they used to arrange this meeting. Sri Ramakrishna used to go, the family members and the others also used to join, and Sri Ramakrishna used to teach them in a very wonderful way, slowly developing their minds, their understanding, their thoughts. And this time Balaram's elder daughter has invited. Sri Ramakrishna has come. He used to like that family so much. And all other people have also come, as the list Master Masha has given. And devotees are celebrating the occasion with a feast. The Master was resting after the meal. Again and again Master asked him, am I liberal minded? So this is the question, liberal minded. Sri Ramakrishna is asking Master Mahashaya, because Master Mahashaya was in the society, he was connected with many people, so he will be able to understand what other people are thinking about Sri Ramakrishna. He is mentioning these, am I liberal minded or not? Now some people, they are religious, but they will make a sectarian. They will say these are the things we should follow and nothing else. This is the God we should believe and no one else. And you should read only this book and no other books. So the mind becomes very narrow. And whereas the God is all pervading. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamaham. Mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvasaha. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna is mentioning anyone, anywhere, in any form they are practicing this spirituality, all their austerities are coming to me. All their prayers are reaching me. See the broadness? But the followers of the same God will be so narrow-minded, and they will say, unless and until you worship only these, you are not going to be liberated. You are not only that, they will be talking in such a way as if they know everything. And they will be saying that you are going to hell and you are going to have this and that, or like this way. So this is the very funny. Though the God himself is liberal, broad-minded, he is mentioning anyone, anywhere, if in a genuine way, a sincere way praying to God. But the followers of same God won't accept that. Why? Because of the ego of ignorance. I don't think so that is correct, whether God says or not. So they will interpret in completely different way. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, because that was the discussion, people used to discuss about that. Everyone is giving his own path and everyone says this is the only path. And those who are aware about the end of 18th century, beginning of the 19th century, the condition of the Indian society, the turmoil was going on. There was no political freedom, no economical freedom, and social freedom was also restricted. But the people of India, they are thinkers, they are very liberal-minded. They want to think, they wanted to have their own paths, then what to do. So they were going on thinking how to make this way very clear. So when a group of people said that God cannot have the form, so obviously some of them they were converting themselves to that religion, and some they were thinking, why not the traditional religion we practice without form. The Hindus, they developed this path, God with form and God without form. Now people were very confused. The so-called educated people, they were thinking what to do, and different type of societies came up at that time. The Theosophical Society came, Arya Samaj came, then Brahma Samaj came, Prarthana Samaj came, one after another. All of them, they were trying to save the traditional Hinduism in their own way, but in a narrow, segregated path, and not with the images. Sri Ramakrishna accepted both. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was worshipping the images. At the same time, he was accepting that God can be worshipped without form. That is also possible. So naturally, the discussions, debates were going on. The Sri Ramakrishna wanted to know from his very close person, Master Mahashaya. Master Mahashaya, he used to get a lot of information, and he was very educated and intelligent person, and he was humble in such a way, he will, as we can understand in the reading this gospel, will never ever express his own views or add his own views. So Sri Ramakrishna used to ask him, that this time he is asking, am I liberal minded? Tell me. Bhavanath, the Swami Vivekananda's friend, he was smiling. Why do you ask him? He will only keep quiet. The Master Mahashaya always keeping quiet, he will never talk. So he was a very gentle and courteous type of person. So Bhavanath is mentioning he will never talk, he will remain quiet. Now a beggar entered the room. He wanted to sing. The devotees listened to a song or two. Narendra liked his singing and asked him to sing more. So he was singing the Hindi bhajans. Narendra liked that. Narendra also, Swami Vivekananda, he was also a singer. So he asked him, Sri Ramakrishna, stop. We don't want any more songs. Where is the money? To Narendra, you may order the music, but who will pay? Now he is a beggar. He is singing for money. For every song you have to give some money. Now if you go on asking him to sing, who is going to pay? Narendra was a very young boy of 18, 19 years. Though he was a rich man's son, but he was not having money. Moreover, they have come to somebody's house. The owner of that family, our Balaram Babu or his family, they are not asking the beggar to sing. These people are asking. Now, who will pay? Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was very methodic. This man is singing for money. And if you ask him to sing, you are supposed to give him money. Are you ready with that? If not, why unnecessarily you are asking him to sing? And then after he will sing and he will say, oh, we don't have money, thank you, that won't do. So Sri Ramakrishna asked him not to sing any more. A devotee smiling, Sir, the beggar may think you are an Amir. Amir means a rich man, a wealthy aristocrat. The way you are leaning against a big pillow. They are making the jokes with the Sri Ramakrishna. He was leaning against a big pillow. So they are mentioning maybe that seeing you, the beggar will think, and you are the rich man, you will pay. They all started laughing. Master also enjoyed the joke and smiling he said, he may also think that I am ill. The Sri Ramakrishna, he is actually leaning against a big pillow, and that was in those days, that was the system. People used to sit on the floor, not in the European way, the chairs. Nowadays everywhere there are chairs, but previously that was the tradition, sitting on the floor, on the soft mattresses and all. And they used to give the pillows, big pillows, so that people can keep their elbow over that and can sit comfortably. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting like that. Then his disciples, they are all making fun. And maybe they will think that you are a rich man. And Sri Ramakrishna immediately replying, he is telling that maybe he will think that I am a sick man. That's so I am sitting like this. So they were having a fun. The conversation drifted to Hajra and his egoism. For some reason, he had to go away from Dakshineshwar. Narendra Hajra now admits he was egoistic. Now, because he was like that, the Dakshineshwar is Rani Rashmani's property. They are the rich people, the jamindars, the landlords. So, naturally, you have to be, when you are there in that property and taking their food, you have to listen to their system also, you have to follow that. Hajra sometimes used to break, so they asked him to quit that place. Hajra went away. Now, he is keeping touch with Narendra. And Narendra was always compassionate and he wanted to help the Hajra. He told Sri Ramakrishna. Then if the Sri Ramakrishna says a word, immediately everything will be all right. But Sri Ramakrishna will never say that, because it is a decision of those people, that jamindars, their office. The Sri Ramakrishna will never say anything. The Sri Ramakrishna says, Narendra is telling, Hajra now admits he was egoistic. Master, don't believe him. He says so in order to come back to Dakshineshwar. And to the devotees, Narendra always insists that Hajra is a great person. Then Narendra, Sri Ramakrishna is just having the fun. The Narendra, as a young boy, he was not having that experience also, but his mind was broad as always, Swami Vivekananda. So when he used to in favor of Hazra, he used to argue, Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, Narendra, even now I say so, Master, why you have heard so much about him and still you think so? Narendra, he has slight defects but many virtues. Though Sri Ramakrishna is arguing with Narendra, but Sri Ramakrishna liked these views of Narendra. The Narendra is the Lord Shiva, and Sri Ramakrishna knew it. And for the Lord Shiva, obviously, everyone was accepted. He could never see anything wrong in anyone. That's why they say traditionally the followers of Lord Shiva are all this type of people. In the society, they will never get any opportunity to go, but for the Shiva, they are all welcome. Shiva will ask them, come and stay. Narendra's mind was very broad. Sri Ramakrishna appreciated that, but at the same time, one should be very practical also. The Sri Ramakrishna is slowly teaching him. Narendra, he is arguing that Hazra has slight defects but many virtues. Master, I admit that he has devotion to his ideal. So he is going on in this way. Now, Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, one realizes God through sattva. Rajas and tamas take one away from him, the God. Now, Hazra Mahasaya, he used to read scripture. He used to take the name of God, he used to count the beads, and he used to talk about God too. Even then, the Hazra used to do all those only to impress people, not for God realization, but to impress people so that they will give him some donation, and with that money collected, he can pay back his loan. Sri Ramakrishna knew it. So Hazra, apparently he is showing that he is a very religious person. But at the back of the mind, all those things only to collect some money so that he can pay back the loan. Sri Ramakrishna never liked it. You are utilizing religion for this purpose. So religion is a purely something else. So some people, they utilize religion for their name and fame, some people for political power, some people for this, some people for that. But religion is a purely, completely different thing. So Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, one realizes God through sattva. Now there are other two qualities are also there. Rajas and tamas. What is the rajas? Egoistic. And tama, completely opposite to sattva and goes completely negative. It says that take away from him. The scripture describes sattva as white, rajas as red, and tamas as black. Once I asked Hazra, tell me what you think of the people that come here? How much sattva does each one possess? Now, Sri Ramakrishna is giving an idea about the person, that most of the time we are impressed by the external appearance of the person. They show in such a way the beautiful face and the long beard and the Armenian mark on the forehead and the long matted hair or something like that and the dress. So we have most of the people, they are impressed by the external thing. But how that man is behaving, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is not hating or criticizing Hazra. Through Hazra, he is trying to tell us, teach us, be careful when choosing an ideal. When you are going to a person thinking that he is a religious person, thinking that you will get some benefit from him for as a spiritual guide, how is he? Again and again Sri Ramakrishna mentioned it. Sadhuke dine dekhbi, rate dekhbi, tarpore bishwas karbi. That means You have to judge that man. Sometimes they go on boasting. Even the monks, they in their pad, they printed the pad, they will mention MA, PhD and all that. Why you are trying to impress people? So what is that? MA, PhD, why, by that nothing is happening. The God realization is completely different thing. With that particular quality, you can earn some money or respect in the world. But the spiritual part, for the God realization, the only quality that is necessary is Sattva-guna. Pure Sattva-guna. What is the Sattva-guna? Never care for the worldly things. Because the ego, that binds us, that takes us away from God. So we have to eradicate the ego. And when the moment I am mentioning that I have studied from so and so university, I was there in there, and all those things, obviously you are expressing your ego, and you like that people should appreciate you for these connections, for this education, for this background. That means you are not genuine. So Hajra used to study scripture. People will come and see, and they'll say, oh my God, Hajra is studying the Veda, Hajra is studying the Bhagavata, and they will be very much impressed. Then he will be talking also very impressively. And doing also japa, when the people will see that he is meditating, obviously they are impressed. But at the back of all this, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna knew it is only to impress people, to collect some money to pay back his loan. He could straightway ask, see, I have some loan, will you please help me? Nothing wrong in it. But why this? This hypocrisy that Sri Ramakrishna never liked. So he wanted to save his beloved disciple Narendra from there. Not that Narendra is appreciating, broad-minded, everything is all right. But if you make a wrong decision, choosing a person and thinking wrong, that he is a spiritual person and that is a wrong, then all your effort will be in vain. The Sri Ramakrishna is genuinely trying to help. Shankaracharya also, he mentioned the three things are very, very rare. Manushyatva, Mumukshutva, Mahapurusha Samastraya. This Mahapurusha Samastraya, this is very, very important. Manushyatva, that we have got, human birth. Then Mumukshutva, by the grace of God, by our past good deed, some desire has come to realize God or to listen to the holy words of God, to get liberation, all this. A little or more, whatever. Mumukshutva has come. We have understood at least that this life won't give us anything, permanent happiness. So we have to go to God. But the third thing, the Mahapurusha, is very, very important. If we make mistake, then these two quality cannot help us. If we go and choose a wrong person, and you will find that the way they always make the advertisement, nowadays there is a time of advertisement, marketing, is that guru? So one must be very, very careful. So Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that helps us to understand all these very subtle things. Otherwise, we will, all our effort to realize God will be in vain. We will be nowhere. So Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning for that. He mentioned one realizes God through sattva. Raja and tamas takes away from him. And what is this sattva? That's completely guileless, completely simple, and completely ego-free condition. But when you see he is giving the example of the Hajra here, because Narendra was supporting him, he said, look at it, tell me what you think. He is telling the Hajra, what do you think of the people who come here? Here means to Sri Ramakrishna. How much sattva does each one possess. He said, now the Hajra is telling, Narendra has 100% and I have 100%. So why Narendra? Because his father is a very influential person. So he wanted to keep touch with Narendra. His father was a very influential person in that society. And Narendra was a very bright young man. So obviously if Narendra was there, it will be great support. And then he said, I have 100% sattva. Then Sri Ramakrishna is asking, what about me? I asked. And he said, you still have trace of pink. You have only 75% sattva. I should say. All started laughing. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the greatest of the great avatara, and Hajra's judgment that he has 75% sattva. That means always looking at Sri Ramakrishna in that way. And not that Sri Ramakrishna is hard, because he knew who he is, but he wanted to show that be careful about that person. Hajra used to practice japa at Dakshineshwar. While telling his beads, he would also try to do a little brokerage business. He has a debt in few thousand rupees which he must clear up. About the Brahmin cook of the temple, he remarked, do you think I talk with this type of people? So the ego, the Brahmin cook, but Hajra won't talk to him because he is a cook. I don't talk with this type of people. These are the ego. The Sri Ramakrishna is not criticizing. We should not misunderstand. We should understand that he is showing us the people, though apparently it looks religious, spiritual person, but one must be very careful about. The truth is that you cannot attain God if you have even a trace of desire. That is Sri Ramakrishna. This is a great statement. Subtle is the way of dharma. If you are trying to thread a needle, you will not succeed if the thread has been a slight fiber sticking out. So this he said many a times. That means a little desire also won't allow us to realize God. Majority of our population, majority of the people, they think are people, they consider them spiritual, religious people. Majority. Only a handful, maybe 0.001%, they will say we don't believe in God. So that is a different. But why then the world is like this? Why we can't, the genuine people? Because we don't understand what true religion is. The true religion means you have to eradicate the ego. And what is the conflict in everything in this world? It is the ego. And because of these, all collisions are going on, fightings are going on. Because the decisions are taken on the basis of the ego, not out of compassion, not out of love. So this is the thing, always the turmoil in the society, every time, everywhere. Now those who are, luckily, they have come to this path of religion, they should study the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. That's why I always say this is the Veda. This is giving us the knowledge of the eternity, knowledge of the God. And it says, the truth is that you cannot attain God if you have even a trace of desire. There are people who perform japa for 30 years and still do not attain any result. Why? Because they are doing apparently, not genuinely. No matter how much sadhana you practice, you will not realize the goal as long as you have desire. But this also is true. Now he is telling the second the line. that one can realize the goal in a moment through the grace of God. Through the grace of God, anything can happen. So when we are trying hard, we are practicing, along with that, if the grace of God is also joining, then there is success. As in the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita, the 700th one, it says, 700th verse, it says, when the Lord Krishna, the God Supreme, is helping, and when the Arjuna, the embodiment of the humanity, is trying, when the both are joining together, then there is success, no doubt. So as a human, we should try our best. And then at the same time, we should pray to God, and God's grace should come on us. And if these two are joining, there is success. Yatra partha dhanuttara, yatra tatra sri vijaya bhuti dhruvani ti matirmama. Now, he is mentioning in this way, suppose a poor man's son has fallen into the good grace of a rich man. He marries his daughter. Immediately he gets clothes, furniture, house, and many other things. He is giving an example. Then if a poor person gets the blessings of a rich man, and rich man, sometimes, most of the time, at least in olden days, they used to give the marriage to the poor person and then give him a lot of wealth. Immediately, that poor man is to become rich. Similarly, a humble devotee trying his best, but at the same time going on praying to God, that by God's grace, immediately he can get everything. Now, a devotee is asking, Sir, how does one receive God's grace? Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, and that is the unique answer. He said grace, and sometimes in Sanskrit it said kripa. And some of the scholars, they explained in this way, kripa. Kri means you have to perform. Kri means doing, performing, trying, practicing. The kripa, you have to perform, you have to try, you have to practice spirituality, and then pa you will get. That is the way they explain kripa. Kripa means grace. But at the same time, it says the grace is like the flood. Usually the water is flowing in the river and it is not crossing both the shore, and suddenly there is the lot of water coming at a time. Then there is a flood. And in that flood, it goes everywhere, water goes everywhere. It's not only inside the river, it is also on both the banks, and it reaches everywhere. That is called the grace. So when the water is flowing, that is only river, that is natural, normal. But when it goes everywhere, that is the grace. The God's grace, people don't understand when it will come and on whom it will come. Then Sri Ramakrishna is giving a wonderful example. God has the nature of a child. A child is sitting with James in the skirt of his cloth. Many a person passes by him along the road. Many of them pray to him for James. But he hides the James with his hands and says, turning away his face, No, I will not give away anything. But another man comes along, he doesn't ask for the James, and yet the child runs after him and offers him the James, begging him to accept it. So it is very difficult. Why that person, the God's grace came on him, who will explain? So this is the way it goes. So we have to do two things. One, understanding this world is futile, whatever is necessary only for the survival, that much we should keep for ourselves, and then we will try to give away everything. Should not be any attachment. First. Second, understanding that there is God, there is some being, that supreme being, whom we can call as God or Brahman or Ishvara or Bhagavan, whatever. It is there. Why? Because the great personalities like Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada Mani, Swami Vivekananda, they are all saying the same, so we believe. Then otherwise, how things are happening, so we believe in that. At this moment we are believing. And then basis on that, we go on trying, and that try is known as sadhana. The spiritual sadhana, adhyatmic sadhana, the spiritual practices. What is the spiritual practices? Regularly remembering God and taking His holy name, praying to Him every moment, and working for Him. Whatever we are doing, offering to Him. So this way if it goes, then slowly, slowly this world will go away from our mind, and the God's presence will be always inside. One cannot realize God without renunciation. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. And what is this renunciation? Tyaga, giving away. Why? Because they are all temporary. I was pursuing each and every one, right from a child and up to a knowledgeable elderly person, a well-educated person, is pursuing only happiness. Whatever we do, only for happiness. So we have to understand this. If this happiness is our goal, and in our life we have understood, then whatever we have gained, slowly it has gone away. We tried to get a job, a position in the society, we got it. We were happy. But then, because of the age, I have to retire from my job. Then I am again alone, slowly becoming lonely, because all are engaged. And I think, oh, I started my life alone. Now, I was thinking I will have the family, everyone should be with me, I will get the happiness. I really got that, but so temporary. The children they grew so fast, and 20 years, 25 years, all they are settled here and there. Again we are alone. So this happened in our life of the grandparents, the fathers, parents, and now it is so obviously this is the truth of life. So understanding this, when we draw our mind from the objects, enough is enough. Now we have done our whatever the duty, the responsibility. Now let us concentrate on God. How? The taking initiation from a Sadguru, from a holy person, and afterwards going on repeating the holy name, trying to meditate the God's beautiful the form inside the mind. Another time when I am reading the Bhagavata and other books, there are so many different ways gods are playing. So I should try to remember that, and that is called the Leela Dhyana. And by that way, most of my time will be engaged away from the worldly things, sitting in the world, living in the world, but away from the world, far away from the world. That is called spiritual retreat. The spiritual retreat, we are pushing away, giving up, renouncing the worldly things which are so tempting. We are giving up. So Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, unless you renounce, you own. And that was the truth discovered by our rishis thousands of years before. They said, Tyage naike amritatva. They use the word amritatva. Amritatva, sometimes our people they think it's like a drink, it is some liquid. No, nothing like that. It is the joy, it is the happiness, it is the bliss which is eternal, this is permanent. So that is called amritatva. So amritatva, that happiness, the eternal happiness which is bliss, eternal, cannot be achieved unless we give up. What we give up? Ego. And associated with the ego is me and mine. And this me and mine is associated with the worldly things around. So when we give up all that, who will accept my words? I have been seeking a companion, a sympathetic soul who will understand my feelings. The Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning in a different way that very few people try to understand this. All are coming to religion, to holy people, to temple, to synagogue, to mosque, to churches, only to get a special protection from God. They never ever come to give away and to accept God. They come and pray to God for some special protection. The developed countries, they are having the social securities, they are having many other securities. The government is concerned about their people, the citizens, all are there. Insurances are also there, everything is there. Along with that, another extra coverage from God. But how many of them, they truly come to realize God? That's why Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, who will understand my words and will listen to my words? And I am searching for my company. No one is coming. I don't find anyone. All are going for the worldly things. Please bless me, so that most of the people they will come and say, and they are above 80, they came and said, Maharaj, please bless me so that I can live long. 80 is a long period of time that we have survived. All we have got, then why? Bless me so that I can realize God. No. So that I can live long. I can see the marriage of my granddaughter and my grandson and all this. The worldly things, we are all associated. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna is telling, who will accept my words? I have been seeking a companion, a sympathetic soul who will understand my feelings. Some of the people, when the bad time comes, they make jokes, it thinks they're funny for them, and they have the capacity to write or to speak or to make the statements. They will go on making like that. And they think they are very modern intellectual people. By that way, they are not only ruining themselves, they are also ruining the society. We have to understand the supreme goal is the happiness. And happiness comes by giving away the ego. And that is exactly what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is teaching. It is not so easy. Those who have understood, we must try to realize it. We must try to really practice it as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is guiding. Thank you, friends, today up to this. And in next class we will study from page 770. Any question?
Maharaja, Vishwapriya Misra is asking how to spiritualize our desires.
Oh, excellent question. Thank you. The desires, the spiritualization of the desire, and that's an excellent question you are asking. Now, if you are earning money, and if you think that this money I am earning, first I will help the holy people, those who are trying to do good to the society, and I will give it a portion of it, and then I will give a portion for my family maintenance, I will give a portion for the country. They also need the taxes. I have to give, for the society also needs that. And the little portion I will also keep for the rainy day, as they say, if some bad times come, for that protection. So you are doing that, earning that completely with the planning, and not for, oh, if I get this, only I will enjoy. Even sometimes some people don't, even rich people, I read in the newspaper, they are not paying taxes. How much taxes? How much money? Why? Because they want to grab everything. Forget about donating, forget about helping others. They even don't give the government taxes. So the society is becoming weak by that way. So that is spiritualizing of your desire. You must do that. In our society it says brahmacharya, garhastha, banaprastha, then sannyas. The brahmacharya is a time for learning. Then garhastha, utilizing that knowledge for your own, fulfilling your own desire. Do it. But in such a way so that you are also at the same time praying and thinking and helping others. So all desires can be, do it in this way, spiritualize, not for me, but for thee, O God. Thank you.
The next question is how to purify our desires through Bhakti-Yoga?
Almost the same type of question. The desire, if it is for the worldly objects and enjoyment, that is binding us. The moment you are desiring for the betterment of others, who are nothing but the manifestation of the same God, that is Bhakti-Yoga. Like I know one lady in Bangladesh, she is working so hard to help the oppressed people, suffering people. She is all alone, highly educated lady, and she is trying all alone to help them. So that is the desire. So she is trying to get some fund, trying to get some money, and whatever she can collect, immediately she is going out to help. I heard in Bangladesh that one place called Chattogram that was under water because of the sudden flood. She, with her little small group, went over there, helped them, and publishing the report with all pictures, and not asking for money, only sending that. And that naturally the people are thinking, if she is doing so much, let us. So she is begging money, asking money, praying for money, and help also, but not for herself, for others. Ramakrishna Mission also do that. Many other societies are doing that. Genuinely they are doing that. So the desire to help others. By that way, when we are praying and asking and begging, that desire gives us completely spiritual benefit, and that is called bhakti. Thank you.
Virendra Majumdar is asking, it is more easy for a procedure of Leela Dhyana, but my problem is I forget Dhyana and start talking with Srima like a child. How to correct?
You need not to correct it. That is a very good system, very good practice. Why should you correct it? Then that is Leela Dhyana. You are forgetting your surroundings. You are forgetting that you are meditating and you are talking with the mother. And that is a very good practice. If you can genuinely do it, the God bless you, mother bless you. That's a very good practice. Don't give it away. That will purify your mind, and mother will surely bless you.
Srima Viswas is asking, why is today that every family is breaking?
Srima, that is really, really sad. Though I should not say every family. That today a family came to me. Not today, they came 2-3 days before. They stayed in our guest rooms, and I was so happy seeing, and so close relations they are having. The grandparents, then the parents, then the the new younger generation, they are all together in a big band. They came, 8 or 9 of them, and each is helping each other, and then all together cooking and eating, going out. They are not breaking. So it depends on the head of the family how he is actually behaving. One thing. Second, because of the economy, because of the socio-economical condition, it has become obvious. Now the son is going to study in a foreign country. After finishing the study, he get a very good job. So obviously staying back over there, and you cannot say that it is breaking. That is the need of the hour. So this way also it is there. So we have to adjust along in this way. So thank you. Okay. So let us conclude with this stotra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidhyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.